go for landing, over. Roger, understand, go for landing. Eagle looking great. Houston, the Eagle has landed.
Those who have seen your face are back in fear. I am the mask you wear, it's me they hear. Your spirit and my voice in one combine. The phantom of the opera is there, inside my mind.
Hey everybody, welcome to Independent Comic Showcase. I am your host, Graham Nolan, and today we're going to be talking with Mr. Chad Townsend, the creator of The Black Phantom. Hello, Chad.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing really good. This is a really, really cool project, and I want to get more eyeballs on it, and I just love that video.
Thank you.
Tell us about it. Tell us about what Black Phantom's all about.
Well, first off, Black Phantom, or I should say, thank you actually for having me on. I'm grateful for that.
Sure.
The Black Phantom is a character I've had since I was a teenager, and I've been drawing him for ages. And but it's something I'm really passionate about. The Black Phantom is basically, he's a walking, living dead guy, and his catchphrase, or not catchphrase, but the saying is, through the power of a mystical key, he's the walking dead man known only as the Black Phantom. This key is like his kryptonite that he wears around his neck. It's what's keeping him alive. If he's separated from the key, he is no longer living. He has these bloodworms that crawl throughout his body that keep him alive. And this curse and this key is what's helping with that. So he could lose a limb and slap it back on and it'll grow back in place. And I haven't contemplated yet, but I might have it to where he could slap on other people's limbs if he's really desperate. So he also has this other superpower or ability to change like a chameleon. By anybody dead that he touches, he can assume their identity and even sometimes reuse it later, like it's a catalog in his body. The only problem is he's done it so many times that he's lost his true identity and forgotten who he is. So he only right now knows himself only as the Black Phantom. This first story, Rocket's Red Glare, is about his mission to find the location of where the V2 rockets are manufactured in Germany in World War II, and also obtain a transmitter and light the path for these rockets so that the bombers know the exact location of it. Because, back in World War II, they needed certain markers to find their targets. Well, that's like his sole mission. And
so this is a period piece, the story?
Yes.
Okay.
So in it, he fights Nazi vampires and a main villain boss fight, which is with the Horned Toad, who is that green-looking character you saw in the trailer.
Okay.
And that's it. That's the
So
story.
what was the inspiration for this? You've decided you're going to step into crowdfunding here, and you chose this particular project. Why this project, and what was the inspiration for it?
It, like I said, it was like in my sketchbooks since I was a teenager, and I'd done it many variations of them throughout the years. And in 2005, when I was getting in the beginning of animation, I actually had an agent for a while and pitched it to a bunch of animation studios, TV animation studios, and almost sold him twice to do two different companies, one of which was BET. And I pitched it to Dennis Cohen when he was in charge of that studio. And Yeah. So when I got there, he
Dennis Cowan from comics.
yeah, he's
Oh,
he's known for, Power Man and Iron Fist and Moon Knight back in the day,
oh
and
yeah, yeah.
was a,
And the Icon label at DC.
he was a Neil Adams studio guy
Mhm.
for a good while,
Yeah, I had Dennis on the Storytellers.
right?
Good guy. Yeah.
He is, I have a great love for that man in my heart because there was around that time period, I was trying to fly out and network and get into the industry. And at one point, my wife called and she said, I hate to tell you this, but the power's been shut off in the house. And I was like so broke. But Dennis pulled out $200 out of his pocket and handed it to me.
Wow.
So, so I will die saying how much I love that guy. He's such a kind person, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, hail
So
Dennis. That's great.
so yep. So let's see. Well, when I pitched it to him, first thing Dennis asked me is like, if he pulls off his mask, is he black? And right then and there, I rewrote the entire origin of the Black Phantom while sitting there talking with him. Like it just, I had one origin. It was about a pirate kind of character, a sky pirate. But then in that moment, he made me really reconsider the entire origin. So I just lied and made it up based off of history.
Well,
Right
you're pitching
then.
with the BET, so
Yeah.
the answer is yes.
Yes. So the answer is yes. And so getting back to your question, why I chose that, well, it's something that has been sitting there with me for a long time. I'm glad I didn't sell it. I'm glad uh, that no one bought it. And here I am. I just turned 50 years old in February, and I'm kind of I got really sick with COVID related pneumonia, and was in the hospital for 28 days. So I've kind of been reevaluating everything, and I'm just at a point, and even with my wife's blessing and her pushing me, she just said, you need to just start publishing this stuff now and just start doing it. And maybe you need to retire from animation for a while and just focus on yourself. So I took the one of the characters I really liked the most, and I decided to go with it because I think it's visually it's more appealing and it's a more marketable kind of character. The other book in my campaign is Kid Squid, and I'm really proud of that book as well. But I think it's going to be one that people are going to read and not realize, how good it is. But it's got 3 origin stories in that book as well. So,
Well, before we get to the campaign, and we'll run through it and go through the various pledge levels and stuff like that. You mentioned you were in animation around 2005.
right.
Tell the folks about what your background is. Yeah.
So my entire life has been filled with comics since I was a little kid. But 3rd grade, I had this situation where I didn't like to read, and my teacher, Mrs. Cave, I'm going to give you a quick, as fast as I can, history. Mrs. Cave told my parents, like, listen, what do we got to do to get Chad reading more? And my mom's like, well, he likes reading comics. And she said, that's fantastic. Go buy him as many as he'll read. And my mom happened to find out there was a comic shop in my hometown in Round Rock, Texas, around 1980. And she came home with a whole stack, and a bunch of them were like X-Men and Spider-Man. And I remember one of the first X-Men books had a John Romita Jr. cover with Rogue on it, and the wedding cover that that was done. Yeah, so a bunch of those books, and I ate them up. And at some point, I realized, there's actual people that do this for a living. This isn't just like a machine that stamps them out and artwork comes out of it. Like somebody has to draw this, and that really inspired me. And So my 11th and 12th grade year of high school, my 12th grade year, I didn't get to attend because the private school went bankrupt that year, and I wasn't able to finish. And so I went and got my GED, found a comic shop. The owner owned many different locations around Austin, and he bought and sold original art. And at the time, I thought I was going to join the military, but then the first Gulf War was breaking out. My dad talked me out of it. And so my only option was just to start showing my portfolio off because I couldn't afford school. My parents couldn't afford to send me. So I went to conventions with a guy named Philip Anderson, bought a lot of artwork from different people and sold it. And he introduced me to a lot of these guys. And through him, I was able to meet so many greats. I remember going to dinner with Gil Kane several times and a bunch
Wow.
of different guys, and showing my portfolio. Some of them started going, "Hey, you're not bad. I could teach you a few things if you'll come be my assistant." So I would go sleep on couches all over and learn and apprentice with a lot of different cartoonists. And that's kind of how I got my start as far as comics goes. And then through many failures, and such as I was trying to get ink work through DC, and I almost got work on Sovereign 7 back in the early 90s, and Catwoman. Jim Ballant was wanting me to be the inker on his stuff because he really liked it. And Julie Schwartz rejected me because I wasn't really a name, even though I had all this assistant work under my belt.
And who did you assist?
Oh, so several guys, mainly like Keith Wilson, Art Nichols, bunch of other guys,
Mm-hmm. Keith is from Texas, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's up in Dallas now, still.
I saw him a few weeks ago when I was
at
the Dallas convention.
I like Keith a lot. He's such a
Nice
great guy.
guy.
Yep. And so, I used to know him in Willingham, and another guy named Bill Williams, who's the writer, creator of Punchline with Matt Weldon. They all used to share the studio, and I would go bug them all the time, the punk kid. And that's kind of how today, like I drew a backup story in Cool Story Bro for Ethan in Rainbow the Brute that Willingham wrote. And that's kind of been like a bucket list item for me because I've always loved and admired not only Willingham's writing, but his artwork. So it's pretty awesome that I got to do that. But so through some of my failures, my dad kept telling me, "Hey, there's this video game studio in Austin. Why don't you do that?" And I'm like, "I don't want to do video games. I want to do comic books." But then when I got that one rejection, not being able to get on Catwoman, I was so upset. My dad handed me this news clipping, which is for a video game and studio in Austin at the time called Iguana Entertainment. Oops, I think it was upside down. Called Iguana Entertainment.
There we go.
Looking for artists.
Okay.
And he, it's a, I looked at it and it said, they made NBA Jam, which was really cool at the time, and NFL Quarterback Club.
Acclaim. Did they also do that shooting game?
Dinosaur Hunter, which is what that studio is known for.
No, I'm thinking of a gun game. It's a Lethal Enforcer.
I'm not. That? It probably did.
Yeah, it sounds like. I think they might have. Okay. Anyway, go ahead.
No, that's fine. I hope you don't mind me rambling. You can always interject. But I turned in my portfolio and got hired the week of my 23rd birthday, and it's been a roller coaster ever since. And 2005 is when I started getting into the animation stuff. I'd around 2002, I went to go work for a Japanese anime company in Houston, Texas, which happens to be where my wife is from and where we live now. Um, I was with them for 3 years, and we travel over to Japan and Seoul off and on,
Mhm.
and worked and learned about the business. And after 3 years there, they had a layoff. And through some miracle, I had no idea what I was going to do. My youngest daughter was going to be born and didn't know where I was going to get insurance or have a job or whatever. And like 2 weeks later, some guy calls me up and he says, "Hey, my name is Frank Parr. I'm the producer director on at Marvel Lionsgate Films. Would you like to design Iron Man armor?" Because he saw my name on a website on a post-it note, like that somebody stuck to the monitor of his computer, and he said he'd been looking at it for like 3 days of my work. So that kind of kicked off everything. And so I worked on the Invincible Iron Man, which was the first animated Marvel movie, directed DVD movie, before the live action stuff started. And it got me an agent for a little while, and I ended up getting a job on Legion of Superheroes, and that kicked off like all of that since 2005.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yep.
That's really, really cool trajectory. But what's
Yeah.
good is that backers will know that
Mhm.
this is a guy who has been in the
Right.
bigs. You know, he knows deadlines. He knows how to produce professional work
Yep.
in a professional and timely manner. So, you know, anybody considering backing, you should always take that into consideration.
Well, I will say with this campaign, knowing how things are in crowdfunding right now and what everybody's going through, I made sure my books were finished first for this first campaign. So the only thing I have left to do on it is any editing and adding the bonus material at the back of the books. But yeah, they're
Wow.
finished.
So Ark, that's a good dovetail into the actual campaign itself.
Mhm.
Tell us about the perks, and you said it's almost all done. So when this, are you going 30 days on this or 45
No,
days?
I'll probably do the 230 and then in demand, because at the same time I need to like really nail down a printer, because I'm
Mhm.
finding I'm learning a lot about printing more than I had thought I ever would here
Mhm.
lately. I'm realizing a lot of these so-called printers that you find on the internet are really just brokers and not really the printers themselves. They're just um, which was kind of shocking to me.
I
So
use brokers.
yeah,
Yeah. They handle everything. You know, and they're the intermediary.
I see.
And you know, they can find printers in various areas
I see.
that fit your needs. Like for me, I have to print everything in the United States. I
Right.
won't print overseas.
That's how I
So
feel.
that's one of my things. So, you know, if they find a good printer that's near me, then my
Hmm.
shipping is less too.
Okay.
You know, so the freight, you know, so I have a printer that I've been using out of
Oh, excellent.
Pennsylvania,
Hmm.
and I'm in New York State, so we're one state over. So it's a lot easier to ship
Okay.
that to me rather than from Texas.
I see. I'm so new to it. I don't know how good that works,
Hmm.
because from my background, I was telling you I had an agent in Hollywood,
Hmm.
and I guess that's that part of me that uh, there's this part of me, because they take 10 to 15% out of every one of my paychecks, and I was doing all the legwork and doing all the networking and stuff, and
Right.
I don't feel like that they really deserved it. So that's when I discovered I don't really need that person. That's kind of how I look at it. I kind of have a personal issue with middlemen, you know.
Hmm. Well, reach out to other folks in the green room.
Right.
You know, when you're looking for a printer, people will help you and point you away from certain ones as well.
Oh, that's good.
You know, so okay, so let's get to the Black Phantom here.
Yeah.
So here's the main cover.
Yes.
Do you have any variant covers?
I do not have except the blank sketch cover variant.
Okay.
So
Okay.
if once you do uh, get one of the perks, there's an add-on afterward that you can get the a blank sketch cover variant, or you can have me draw on one.
Oh, that's nice. You get an original
Yes.
drawing on it.
Hmm.
Okay, so your first tier is your main book bundle. So
Yep.
you'd get the Black Phantom. Oh, how many pages is this, by the way?
So each comic is 24 pages, but it's going to be a total of 32 with all the supplemental materials in it.
Okay, is this saddle stitch?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
So it's 2 books and a standee like this
Hold on.
for $25.
Ah, okay. The
If you
standee comes with it.
Yep. So if you scroll down, there's a picture of the standee at some
Let's do
point.
that. Okay. So while we're doing that, we're going to see some of the artwork here, which is, by the way, 100% finished.
Yes.
Is it black and white? Is the book black
Yes.
and white? Oh, okay.
There might be single color spot color
Hmm.
of like blood and
I
stuff.
did that with the Chinook.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. Nice. Beautiful action. Nice, clear storytelling. Good stuff. And this is the other book that you get?
Yep.
And how many pages is this one?
24.
24 also. Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
It's complete and ready to go. If you scroll down and see some of the pages, it's 3 origin stories in one book, and it's one complete story. So is the Black Phantom. So you'll be able to sit down and read it and get a complete tale. This coloring, by the way, is inspired by Darwin Cook.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the way he did the sepia, his version of sepia in the Parker
Right.
novels.
Yeah, a monochromatic palette.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is good. Kind of a greenish blue.
Yep.
Yeah.
So here I wanted everybody to see the lineup of characters that they'll be getting in these 2 books.
Okay. Dr. Thulu.
Yeah, Dr. Cthulhu, Pandora, and Kid Squid. And a lot of people are thinking, well, is it or like a children's book? And not really. It's actually kind of gory.
Oh, okay. That's good
in
to
some
know.
places. Yeah.
Oh, we did see some blood here.
Yeah.
There we go.
I covered up the a little bit of each
Okay.
just for Indiegogo, just in case.
You know what? You might want to go over that and put here edited.
Okay.
So people don't think that's because it looks like it's part of the artwork.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll do that.
Yeah, throw something on there saying, blocked out or edited or something like that,
Yeah.
It's kind of fun to do that too. So Indiegogo could be a little dicey sometimes about that stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. Ah, nice pool.
Thank you. I've got a great swimming pool.
Okay, sketch cards.
Yep.
Okay. Are these add-ons?
It is as well. You can
okay,
just
I
choose
see.
that you choose that straight as a tier and then do add-ons.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you get your choice of character out of those 5. And yeah, that's a sketch variant.
Okay. So, all right,
Very simple.
Here's our tiers. We've got the main bundle tier, you got the sketch card tier, head sketch variant cover tier.
Mhm.
That's a good deal. Kid Squid head sketch variant cover.
Yep.
And here's one where you get one of everything.
Correct.
That's good to have. Yeah. All right, it's a nice streamlined, very simple to fulfill
Yes.
campaign, which is I recommend to anybody who's starting out of the gate to do is keep it simple.
Yes. There are some add-ons that aren't on the main page. I've got if anybody's interested when they do, I've got one book I don't have here, but I've got full color folios of my work from different projects. So like this one right here, I worked on Teen Titans Go to the Movies.
Okay.
And it's all my prop work from that movie, my favorite prop work. And you can see it.
Cool.
So
yeah, hold on. Let me put you up into solo so that you can show some of the interiors of that.
Yeah, give me a sec. So like, yeah, there's the cover,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of my vehicle designs and stuff from the movie. And I even there's like even an Azrael Batman that shows up in the movie, and a Frank Miller.
I hated drawing that Azrael Batman.
Yeah.
Oh God, I hated that costume.
And there's all the there's all the turnarounds of that police vehicle.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Did you work digitally?
Yes.
Okay.
There's the Batmobile that I did for the movie.
Nice.
So yeah, every vehicle in. Oh look, here's a Watchman that even made an appearance. I forget what that's called. The
owl
owls.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Cool. So is that those books, those folios are add-ons?
Yes, they are like $10 a piece. They're $20. Or
Let's
20,
see some
20
stuff from the other one.
They're 20 pages, and they're crammed full of just artwork. So this is the color one. It wraps around, and there's like, I worked on DuckTales, by the way, so that's where some of this comes from.
Okay.
So there's prop work I did for the Epic Mickey games.
Nice.
Let's see. There's like a Joker and Harley Quinn I painted.
Nice. Beautiful.
Thank you. A Batman piece that Neil Adams personally saw, looked at me and shook his head. Didn't say anything.
And well, you can take that any way you want.
You can. But he walked up to me, he looks at it, and he looks at me and he goes, "Thanks, Neil."
That sounds like Neil.
Yep. There's Loki as a crow, and
MODOK.
Or MODUK.
MODOK, yeah. That's great.
So I did those pieces because I was trying to get onto the DuckTales TV series. I'd worked on the Epic Mickey games, and I'd done I spent almost a year developing a Carl Barks style DuckTales kind of game. And I tried to get on the show one time. Let's see if I can turn that Deadpool. I tried to get on the show one time, and they rejected me, even though I talked with them personally. So I went, all right, what can I do? Because the video game got canceled, and I worked so hard. I did like 400 character designs for this game, and I was devastated because I really loved the original cartoon and the Carl Barks stuff. So those duck paintings, I said, I'm going to do a mashup of DuckTales and the Avengers in that universe, and then see what happens. And I started posting them all on Twitter and everything, and it blew up. Joe Quesada actually saw it and then got me in touch with people at Disney, and it was the same people, and they saw it and they loved it, but rejected me again.
Oh, jeez.
Even though the recruiters at Disney were going, we can't understand this. Like, your work is really good, but we don't know why they're not hiring you. There's like something up with this. So when they started ramping up production on the second season, they said, you know what? We're still thinking of you. We want you to come on the show. So here's an idea. We're going to do an art test, a blind art test. We're going to get a bunch of different artists to try out, and you're going to do props based on like other stuff. Like, you're going to try to match the art style, and we're going to present it to them, and they're going to pick the best one. And I was the best one out of that deal, like without knowing who I was or anything. I made it based on the merit, and they were some of the people that had rejected me before were actually kind of shocked and embarrassed, that that they didn't bring me on, before. So
well, don't get mad, get even.
No, that's how but I was glad, I'm glad that the recruiters were there on my side. They wanted to see me get in there, so
That's when you tell them, no, thanks. I don't feel like working for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, never mind.
Well, when you got to pay the bills, sometimes you
Yeah,
don't
there
have
is
that
that.
option. You'll
Yeah.
take whatever job you can get.
Well, hopefully this will be your new job, and that is creating new stuff for your fan base, and owning your own IPs.
Right.
And this is your first one out, and I want to encourage everybody to take a look at it. I'll put the link to the campaign in the description, and I want to thank everybody. I want to thank Chad for coming on, telling us about his
Thank you.
really cool project. And everybody that's been watching Independent Comics Showcase, support these guys. Independent Comics is where it's at. It's the future of the art form that we know as comics. So we appreciate everybody that watches these things and backs and supports these various projects. So until next time,
You're gonna
everybody,
love my project. So
you guys have a great one.
thank
Bye
you.
bye now.
Bye.